Hi guys, welcome to Man Reacts. Today, we'll talk about the increasing number of women who, as they approach the end of their reproductive lives, are finding that the men they had assumed would be waiting for them to decide to settle down and get married are no longer interested in them, and have moved on to younger, more attractive women in their prime. We're going to talk about the 6 main reasons why women are completely fed up with their lives and hitting the wall. Leftover women are becoming more and more prevalent in the current world because of feminism and genocentrism, particularly in Western nations. Recently, I read an article in a newspaper about how this began in the East, and it basically talked about unmarried women in their late 20s and early 30s who prioritize their education and careers before romantic relationships. Many of these women are consequently left alone in their mid-30s or early 40s, only to learn that financially successful men increasingly choose younger women and shied away from women who are overly involved in their jobs. So, here are the 6 key reasons why women are petrified of men when they start hitting the wall. Number 1. They're more interested in climbing the corporate ladder. As a result, just as in most of the Western world, women blindly adhere to the feminism philosophy and act like boss babes without ever considering the importance of males in their life. Older women are consequently unhappy since they are already at their breaking point. Currently, women are forced into careers they loathe, are intimately familiar with the harsh realities of the job market, and, most importantly, find it dreadful to consider reaching the end of their prime. The majority of women are unable to accept this last statement because of their societal training, despite it being quite telling. Women are being misled by schools, the media, and the entertainment industries into delaying marriage and having children while simultaneously being encouraged to pursue other goals like pursuing an education, a profession, or even many partners. By the way, the word partners refers to flings rather than long-term relationships. You'll discover more about these ladies in today's movies, including why they're unhappy and resentful, and why you should avoid them at all costs. Number 2. They're deluded by feminist propaganda. The most extreme forms of feminism claim that as women rise to the positions of CEO and important decision-makers in large corporations and governments, they can live fully and freely. This claim essentially ignores the fact that the woman will eventually begin to feel as though she is rapidly approaching the age at which she will no longer be able to bear children, and that feeling will gradually affect her. She will also find it incredibly hard to find a partner as she ages because men prefer younger and more feminine women. Social conditioning is incredibly harmful and potent. Modern women who fall for it will go to any lengths to protect the beliefs they hold dear. In actuality, they simply combine it with the information they've received from institutions, important figures, and multinational corporations with little regard for the pleasure of women. The prize for the unhappiest person goes to single, career-oriented women who are roughly 42 years old. They can earn around $100,000 a year, but they're still not content and satisfied with their lives. By the way, this data was taken from a publication dedicated to women. A married man with a decent job and a nice partner is the happiest. Furthermore, according to the same article, a married man aged 39 with 1 child, a wife who works part-time, and a household income of between $150,000 and $250,000 is the happiest person. Number 3. They're forced to choose between feminism and reality. Even though the piece ignores the wealthy single guys, the fact that this woman's magazine confirms what we already know about leftover women is really telling. The fight for women's independence has left women less happy than before, especially in the emotional and financial realms. The intimacy revolution, adultery, and the ability to be stigma-free are all topics on which modern women are allowed to express their ideas. MGTOW doesn't even invite this kind of woman into their lives. They simply don't invite any women at all. The paradox of falling female happiness between 1970 and 2005 is an actual phrase that has been used by economists. Women's happiness has substantially decreased. These ladies don't actually know what they're talking about when they discuss patriarchy and male privilege. Men aren't good for nothing, and women can do it all by themselves are just a few of the phrases from the woke literature that they used to recite on their early broken recordings. We don't require any men. I am entitled to choose whom I want to sleep with. Men are oppressors, etc. Number 4. They think they'll be satisfied with money. Due to the predictability of their language, modern women who decided to pursue a career rather than get married are annoying, disagreeable, and bad candidates for dating. Although they think that doing so will help them have acceptable finances and get to know themselves better, they have been taught the idea that they can climb the corporate ladders in their 20s, have a good profession, have multiple guys hit on them, and finally settle down in their mid-30s. The unadulterated truth is very different. Leftover women live financially irresponsible lives for the most part. Women overspend, live paycheck to paycheck, and have so much emotional baggage that their ability to attach as a couple is permanently lost. They turn to antidepressants and other legal drugs like alcohol and cigarettes when they are in their mid-30s and early 40s and have trouble finding a man who truly wants them as a mate. However, this does not imply that men pay them no attention. Some males will thirst for any woman out there, no matter what sort they are. Number 5. They're being taught to ditch their feminine qualities. The more children and marriages they have, the more macho they become. Ideology triumphs over biology, in my opinion, if I had to summarize the thoughts of the remaining women. They make fun of men, demonize them, and treat them with complete contempt. Here are some more details in case they still require them. Women who have more than 10 intimate partners are merely making a last-ditch effort to marry a man. Since pair bonding is practically impossible, she likely has DNA from numerous people, according to studies. Let me put it this way. Would you want some other guy's DNA in your child? In addition, society, the matrix, and other strong, influential. A person will always be shaped by their family's environment. The woman is likely to be more damaged than a conventional woman raised in a healthy home if the social conditioning is coupled with the absence of a good mother figure or with the presence of a promiscuous and or toxic mother. It's like going back in time, and I mean the golden times if you ever come across conventional women. Sadly, they are not very common. Even if they don't behave like it or don't have the qualities for it, leftover women and modern women as a whole desire to be treated like traditional ladies. They presumably never understood the meaning of the saying, "You can't have your cake and eat it too." Number 6. They're just not relationship material anymore. Even decent females freely acknowledge that they prefer being correct and dominant to being happy and are aware of this unfortunate truth. The remaining women put off having children, feel oppressed just for being female, and enjoy imposing their views while preaching tolerance and freedom. They seldom ever admit that being female has many advantages over being male. Working their way up the corporate ladder until their 40s, modern women did everything they could to capture and possess the essence of power they believed would make them happy. However, they only realized much too late that they had a natural need to nurture families, settle down, have loving relationships with men, and become good mothers. They can't even admit that they should have followed the rules and lived in line with their feminine nature now that they've been saturated with feminist philosophy. Perhaps in the future, women will begin to embrace adopting the stereotypical gender roles and learn how satisfied they can be. Time will tell. The natural principles of this universe should never be disregarded, as I frequently say. How life can be lived with a balance for both men and women is what nature has planned for men and for women. Most of the time, guys prefer to embrace their masculine frames and stay true to their natural characteristics. However, more and more women are making the decision to abandon their femininity in order to assume the role of men in society. They do this by using the influence of the media to gradually persuade men to renounce their propensity for being masculine. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more on this topic from Man Reacts.